Hello, good evening, neighbors, friends, and brothers and sisters. Welcome. This is your Member Provincial Parliament, Faisal Hassan, joining you again another Friday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. to bring your coffee, bring your tea, bring any beverages you like, and let us talk about this week's important issues. Before I begin, neighbors, friends, brothers and sisters, I wish to acknowledge at this time the land that we now know as York Southwestern is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuits, Métis peoples. And welcome. And those of you who are just joining now, Ifat Riaz, welcome. Joining us, Faisal Hassan, NDP, and also those who are joining also on Instagram, Faisal Hassan, NDP, welcome. And also those of you joining also on Twitter, Faisal Hassan, NDP, welcome as well. And also YouTube. And also, if you haven't subscribed my YouTube, subscribe it. And also on YouTube, folks, there are tons of videos about me debating about the many different bills and motions of the legislature, as well as also you can also subscribe to see those as well. And also those who are joining us Facebook, Faisal Hassan NDP, welcome. Melissa, welcome, and others as well. Well, folks, this week has been another busy week again, and quickly. This government's plans and announcements is just a complete mess. With regard to the government recently announced expanded access to rapid antigen testing across several locations in the city. Rapid antigen testers are used as an additional screening tool only for symptomatic individuals and are not for diagnostic purposes. Anyone who receives a package of tests to take home and gets a positive result must self-isolate and book a lab-based PCR test at a testing site to confirm the result. And this, folks, has happened kind of a confusing and just affords a rapid test distribution failing far short of need. And this afternoon, I have released a press release regarding this. And our community of York Southwestern has long been a COVID-19 hotspot, home to many frontline workers, many of them from racialized communities. Yet with Omicron spreading widely, the Ford government has left Ontarians unprepared. Welcome, Ivan. Thank you for joining us this afternoon, and hopefully I'm looking forward joining us here in York Southwestern sometime next week. Thank you for joining us, and hope you're doing well. And the government's rapid test distribution is falling far short of what is needed. 2 million testers for a population of 15 million people simply isn't cutting it, folks. It is not enough. We need more. And our community here, community members are scared and they are frustrated after waiting for hours in lines. Many of them didn't even get a test kit after that long wait. They're trying to do the right thing by getting tested. They deserve so much better. The Ford government must provide more testers in more locations, far beyond LCBOs. We need testers in libraries available, grocery stores, hand out to families with kids in childcares and childcare centers staff, residents and visitors in senior centers, senior community centers like the SIME 55, York Active Living, beach halls, and many senior communities in our community, and so much more need these in their community centers. And we can do it better to make it more accessible to the community as well. Will also Frank join us? Also, Frank, welcome. Salman, welcome as well. Paul, welcome. And Frank says, hey, Brother Faisal, thank you for holding your talk. I know that you're very, very busy this time of this time. This time this time. Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciated that. Rebecca, welcome. Also joining Instagram. And folks, this afternoon, I have also visited to make sure, this morning rather, to see if these LCBOs in our community have the rubber testers in our community. I visited the one located at Keele and Lawrence. They had none. And also the one at Stockyards, which was one of the designated location to pick it up. I went there too. They had early in the morning, people were lining up, but around 11:30, it was gone, gone. And I asked them, are you guys getting another amount, and how many? And when will people able to get it? They don't know. They have no clue about it. And it's not their fault. It's the government's fault in this regard. Also, I visited the other LCBO location at 401 and Western Road, and there, while I was there visiting, people were getting at that time, and it was around 1:15 in the afternoon, and I don't know if they still have it, but I think the problem here we have is they said, LCBOs, and these 3 locations in our community is not enough, and they haven't even considered about people who are recovering with alcohol, who do not need to see or view alcohol that they wanted to move away from. And if those people the only option for them is to go there, it's a problem, folks. They haven't thought about it very clearly. And another issue also is a lot of religious people might not be able to feel comfortable going to LCBOs because others might go because it's appropriate place, because a lot of people will be going to the holidays to get their liquor, all that there, but others might not be able to go. What about seniors? They can't line up. We need them to make it available. And this afternoon's my press release exactly was talking about this, to make sure that we have in libraries where people are going to get books, and mainly libraries is close to the community, and that will also have given us also more of them there, and also getting also senior centers. I've mentioned, Sims 55 and York West Active Living here, and other senior communities or co-ops such as the Beach Hall, senior places and other locations can be distributed. Childcare centers as well. And these are important locations where it is necessary, this government, to do it right and to deliver it where more people are going to be. So folks, I'm thinking about this, and many of you have written to me about this, and I thank you for alerting and writing to me since yesterday when this announcement was made, and Carla, welcome. Brandon, welcome also. And Brandon says, good evening, MPP Faisal Hassan. Well, good evening to you as well. Folks, those who are just joining, you're joining your member provincial parliament, Faisal Hassan. Neighbors, friends, brothers and sisters, welcome. And folks, this Friday is going to be the last Friday of the year that I'm going to join you, because we are now, next Friday is a Christmas. And because of that, and we are going to also into the new year. So I will be joining you the new year Friday, where we'll be able to catch up and also update you the week of the new year, starting on the week of the 3 and the the 4th, 5th, and 6th and 7th, so that I could also preview about what we need to do, and also to hear from you as well. And so this will be the last Friday of the year that I'm joining you. So next Friday, the next two, I think I think it will be another Friday before we go to the new year also. Eve, I won't be able to join you as well. So that's also just I'm just letting you know that, so you know ahead of time as well. Well, quickly here on Instagram, I think Isaiah Ofiza says that happy holidays, and I appreciate the work you have been doing for our riding. Your newsletter is informative. Well, thank you very much for joining this evening, and I appreciate for your continued support. And definitely, folks, is important. The newsletter, if you haven't subscribed, folks, please do. So we update you every week, twice a week. We send updates of the work of the legislature, what we are doing, and we have been doing this continuously, so that you will be able to also go back and check also what we have been talking about. You can go to faisalhassan.ca, my website, and there you'll be able to read and also subscribe as well, so that also we can connect through also our newsletter as well. And that's also, I think, as I have mentioned that, and that's absolutely, thank you for sharing that. And Jerry Grossi, welcome. Shatu, welcome. And thank you, folks, for joining. Also, folks, also, my leader, Andy Horvath, this afternoon also talked about these Ford's incomplete face and late about the vaccines, as well also the rapid test as well. So my leader, Andy Horvath, also proposed that the worker and small business supports be put in place now for those that lost income, and stated that calling for the rapid testing debacle to be cleaned up after a day of a mile-long lines and families looking for tests going home empty-handed. And we've seen that in our community. I've mentioned that I visited the three LCPOs in our community, and the situation is not good, folks. And my leader, Andy Horvath, also continued to say the tens of millions more rapid testers are needed to be released immediately, and calling for a massive also a hiring of also public health. We need more healthcare workers, and hospitals are dramatically understaffed, and the remaining nurses and other frontline healthcare workers are burnt out, exhausted. The hiring plan must include, folks, repealing for this low wage law, Bill 124, and giving healthcare workers their respect they have always deserved. They have called them champions and heroes, and when it comes to supporting them, then they just impose bills like 124. We need to rebuild it immediately. And also calling for the boosters plan to be fixed, as millions of Ontarians are prepared to go online to book their booster all at the same time on Monday morning. And this is also going to be another chaos happening, folks. And that's also a worrisome. And it is also quickly the announcements they've just made about also the capacities, about 50%. They have said that the beginning Sunday morning at 12:01 a.m., the following indoor spaces have a capacity limit of 50%, and that is restaurants, bars, strip clubs, and also each table a limit to 10 people. And then the closing time is also 11 p.m. Alcohol sales end at 10 p.m. And no dancing allowed except workers and performers. And then also personal care services are included. That will be 50%. And also fitness trainers, retailers, including grocery, and also pharmacy, shopping malls as well, and also gyms and indoor recreation and indoor clubhouses as well, and tour and guide services, photograph studios, and also at stadiums, theaters, and racing tracks, bingo halls, casinos. Also, no food and drink services will be allowed as well. So the government will update. Just give me a quickly. I don't know what's going on. Let me just get here quickly. Yep, here we are. And also the government will update the directive for healthcare workers providing care for possible or confirmed COVID cases to recommend that N95 mask must be worn. Exempt from capacity limits. Any business being used for wedding, funeral, or religious rite, service, or ceremony. So there you are. So folks, those who are just you're joining your member provincial parliament, Faisal Hassan, welcome. And neighbors, friends, and brothers and sisters, I have been joining you since the start of the pandemic. Early on, we started on Saturdays from 3 to 4, but because of your request, we shifted from Saturday to Fridays. Fridays from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. And since then, we have been doing this and continuing to do so. So I'm glad that that we have been doing this. And every Friday, I have been available to you to answer also some of your questions and also read some of your comments as well, and also to update you the work I've been doing at the legislature at Queen's Park and also in the community. And this has been continuing, folks. It's another way of also to be accountable. And accountability is important because in our community, elected members are not available. And it has been continued for years and years of neglect of our community. And that's why I have made myself available to you virtually and also answering your calls, returning your emails, and also updating you twice a week what we do at the legislature and continuously. So those who have just joined, you're joining your member provincial parliament, Faisal Hassan. Welcome. And also quickly before I take your comments and questions, also just announcement. I've been doing this also for the last couple of weeks now that our MPP Faisal Hassan's Youth Council is now open. And our youth council provides an opportunity for young people in our community to highlight ways our community can be better and identify ways we can support young people across this province. And if you are a younger, youth, you can apply, and you can also do that, folks. And if you want to apply and you don't know how to do it, you can just also email me, fhassan-co@ndp.on.ca. You can just phone also at the constituency office at 416-243-7984. Quickly, Eshatu Yi says, Dear Faisal, I sent email for you, but you didn't read and reply. Sorry, sir. Please look and read my email. Well, thank you. I think we have wanting to make an appointment to see you. I think I have asked my assistants to follow up to make an appointment with you, and we can do that this week if that's possible. If you are available also in this week, why don't you just drop by at the office so we can sit together and talk about your issues, if that's okay with you and if you have the time. Ishatu, if that's okay with you, just thumbs up, okay? Let me know about that so we can do what we can to help you. Thank you. So come anytime after 11 tomorrow or after tomorrow before the 23rd, and I'll be happy to look into your case. Okay. Well, thank you. Ivan says, "Thank you for everything you do." Well, thank you, Ivan, and we appreciate for your activism, for your involvement of the community. Thank you, Ivan, and I'm looking forward spending some time during the holidays. Thank you. Perhaps you can drop at the constituency office anytime when you land. Okay. Thank you. Well, Ishatu, welcome, and I'm looking forward to seeing you. And Ishatu says, "Sorry, I'm from Ethiopia. I don't understand, Ishatu. I'm just confused." So, do you live in York Southwestern, or you are in Ethiopia? Just clarify that, and please let me know, because if you're overseas, I won't be able to help you because I'm not a federal MP. I don't deal with federal jurisdiction matters. But if you lived in the community here, I would have perhaps met with you and advise and get involved and see how I can help you. So just clarify, Ishatu, for that for me. Well, folks, I want to also acknowledge and express my appreciation to community members and also agencies across our community of York Southwestern who are supporting vulnerable individuals and families during this holiday season. The spirit of generosity has been on display from every corner of our community. And we are seeing agencies deliver vital support to people who are badly in need of holiday cheer. We have seen 12 Division and West Park Baptist Church collect food donations, and agencies like Western Area Emergency Services step up as demand for their services has quadrupled since 2019, and also North York Food Harvest also located in our community, Food Share also located in our community, are doing a fantastic job supporting community members. The government must do better to support vulnerable people in this province. But I am heartened by the fact that so many are working so hard to try and fill the gap in support, and this is also unacceptable, and there is a role for the government to support community members, and we need to do beyond food bank and also put a priority to make sure people don't go hunger, and we can tackle these a province like ours, a country like ours that are so rich. There's no reason people are depending on food banks. But thank you to these organizations and also community members who are generously giving and helping. But we need the government to do more and help members of our community. Will also parents in our community continue to have affordable daycare at the top of Christmas wish list? But as the holiday season approaches, the government seems prepared to deliver a lump of coal. And this government's refusal to sign an agreement means yet another month where parents will be forced to pay the highest childcare fees in the country. The opportunity to make life more affordable is right in front of them, but they continue to look the other way. I have heard from countless parents on this issue and the need to move swiftly to come to an end, an agreement. And I agree and hope the government will come to the senses in time to prevent further impact to household budgets and insist on relief. This is important, and we should do it immediately. And there's no excuse. We know that the Liberals have been promising 30 years in their Red Book. I mean, if you could remember, 1993, they had since 1993, they have been promising a childcare. Now is an opportunity. Now they have come to the table, and I think we are the last province that is holding. And I think it is time this government comes to the table and stops excuses and puts families that are struggling, families that need a childcare, and $10 childcare per day is needed here in our community of York Southwestern. Folks, we have only the end of the year is almost coming to a conclusion, and I know next year we're going to have an election, and if this government, if they don't do it, we will do. An NDP government headed by Andrea Horvath will deliver, folks. And we will deliver, and we'll make sure we have a childcare, $10 per day childcare in our province of Ontario. And there's no way we should basically not take advantage of this huge opportunity because we know that the Liberals have always been campaigning over 30 years, starting their Red Book in 1993, broking so many promises. But now, if they're coming to the table, definitely is an opportunity for families in Ontario. We should take advantage of that. Now is the time to do, and I think these governments have simply are saying so many things, no, 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 when it comes to priorities of the people of Ontario. We could do better, and we deserve better, and we are working very hard now before the election to make sure this is delivered, and to make sure that we deliver results for families in York Southwestern and across Ontario. Well, thank you. Well, thank you, folks. Those who are just joining, you're a member of Provincial Parliament, Faisal Hassan. Neighbors, friends, brothers and sisters, welcome. And those who are joining, just joining, you're joining Instagram, Faisal Hassan NDP. If you're joining Faisal Hassan NDP Facebook page, welcome. And also Twitter, Faisal Hassan NDP. And also YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube, please do so, because you've got a lot of videos there, over hundreds of them. And they're there because that's the work we've been doing since we've been elected. So there you can also access and also let me know what you think, and the issues matter to you as well, because those are important to hear from your perspective there as well, folks. So also, and you're watching also LinkedIn as well. So that's also folks who are there also can also join us and also follow up there as well. And Ryan Shane Fraser says the conservative of gentrification is becoming more and more apparent in every life. And so that is so true, Ryan. And thank you for joining, and thank you for your comment. And we have seen that. We have seen also the consumers. We have seen also being taken advantage. We have seen also during the pandemic that everything has went up, and there's no relief, no support, and no teeth to support communities. Well, sometimes, if gentrification means pushing communities out of their neighborhoods, out of their communities, that's not what we want. That's not the kind of gentrifications we want. And it is not right. And thank you. We need to make sure that it's a win-win situation where the community wins, as well as also those people coming also winning. And I also, Ryan, the consumer issue is a big issue. And I also recently I co-sponsored a bill to improve consumer protection for York Southwestern residents and all Ontarians. And I co-sponsored my colleagues from Humber River Black Creek, Tom Rokosovich, and Scarborough Southwest, Dolly Begum, and also Terence Canahan from London North. And this bill is very important, folks, and would create the position of consumer protection watchdog, and would oversee all matters pertaining to consumer protections in Ontario. This bill will replace the current patchwork of agencies and give average people an opportunity to hold powerful businesses and corporations accountable for unethical behavior. And I often hear from people in the community frustrated with unfair business practices, who feel unsupported and unheard. They often look to organizations for support who lack the power to take real action. Sometimes they are told to contact a lawyer, which is incredibly unaffordable and unrealistic in most cases. For others, their last resort is to contact media in the hopes that their story will be told and shame businesses into taking action. None of these options serve truly to protect consumers and place hurdles in the front of customers that have legitimate complaints but lack access to support. And I just noticed my friend Khalid Ahmed joined, who's also, I believe, he's nominated to run for the next election, and he has been an active and leader of the community. Welcome. And if could you write the riding in which you are from? I just forget about your riding quickly, and quickly also, Ryan. Welcome again, and those who are also joining us as well. And our build, I was just talking about the bill that we just, consumer protection. Our bill would create one-step shop to handle consumer grievances. The Ontario Consumer Protection Watchdog would provide the ability to determine compliance with consumer protection laws or practices. They would also have the power to release independent public reports to focus on widespread consumer concerns, similar to the Auditor General. They would have the resources and moderate tools to ensure that businesses who choose to act improperly are held accountable, are held to account for their actions. The public has a right to feel that their health, safety, financial security are protected. And in too many instances, this hasn't been the case. In fact, throughout the course of the pandemic, we have seen instances of unethical businesses practices like price gouging get worse. Consumers deserve protection. Consumers deserve action now. And it is important that we pass this bill. Please pressure your member provincial parliament, wherever they are, to make sure when we return next year that we pass this bill. I have heard from people in York South-Weston who have expressed legitimate concerns resulting from new home builds or condo purchases that feel the industry is out of control. Automobile insurance companies charged full rates to customers required to stay home early in the pandemic, and continue with unfair practices such as postal code discrimination. And that has happened in our community and many parts of the GTA and beyond. And these are just two examples, folks. Exist from a wide variety of industries. The Consumer Protection Watchdog will have the teeth to force businesses to act responsibly and will correct the power imbalance that currently exists between wealthy corporations and their customers. The days of legitimate objections being brushed aside must come to an end. And I appreciate the members of our community that have spoken up on this issue and appreciate the positive response to the bill. I look forward to returning to the legislature and advocating with the support of our community of York South-Weston residents, pushing this effort forward. Well, this is also an important bill, folks, and we need to make sure that we pass it. Quickly, Brandon says, today the province of Ontario has logged 3,124 COVID-19 cases. Since the COVID-19 cases are up again Do you think that the Premier Doug Ford will put the province of Ontario back into lockdown? Well, Brandon, thank you for the question. But I think I've just read their current announcements, and I think we must make sure that the safety of the public comes number one, Brandon, to make sure that we are also, I know that the community has done their part. And I think we make sure that we work also the federal government and this government to make sure that it puts priority, making sure that the safety of people is priority. But it doesn't help when the government announces that rapid antigen tests are available in LCBOs, and those places, they are not, immediately, it just runs out quickly, and and they are not available in other locations, and people are lining up for boosters. We need to make these supplies of vaccines available everywhere, every corner. And even in our community to this day, we do not have a permanent vaccine a facility in this community. And we need that. So, what we need, Brandon, is to make sure that the government is responsive to the needs of the community. And this is not the case. We need to make sure that the community is supported. It's supported by their government. And this government is always, a day late and a dollar short. And this has been continuously since the pandemic. We need to make sure this government ends the dollar pinching and not investing in the community. We need to do that to make sure that the community is supported and that the community gets that assistance they need. Now also a positivity rate is 8.5 today, and that is another issue that Efat Riaz have shared with us. Well, thank you, Brandon, for your question. I do appreciate for sharing it. Well, thank you. Sorry about that, folks. And quickly, those who are just joined, you're a member provincial parliament, Faisal Hassan. Neighbors, friends, brothers and sisters, you have been joining me since we began this at the COVID, the start of the COVID, and we have been continuing this to continue to hear your concerns and also to make sure that now we are going into the holidays, and this Friday is going to be the last Friday I'll be joining this year, and I'll join you again every Friday from 7 p.m. Next year as well. So I just want you to know that next Friday I won't be able to join you live, but I will be able to hear me other ways. You'll be also getting my newsletter as well. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. You can go to my website, faisalhassan.ca. You can read the past newsletters as well to hear also and so forth. If you want also to watch the previous conversations, you can also go to the YouTube. There we have hundreds and hundreds of videos there on the legislature as we debates and also question period, holding the government accountable, etc., etc. Also, folks, I want to thank everyone who has written to me recently to advocate for fair auto insurance in Ontario. As many people know, I have spoken repeatedly about the fact that Ontario faces the highest auto insurance rates in the country, and our community continues to be challenged by unfair practices of postal code discrimination. This is an affordability issue, folks, and one that is very important to me because in our community, people are paying average auto insurance over $3,000 a year, and that's unacceptable. The current government has failed to hold insurance companies accountable for their actions and will continue to pressure the government to hold them accountable. And it's important that we do that because we cannot continue. We cannot continue to this kind of neglect We know that the last 15 years, was bad, but now we have worse. In some cases, the last 15 was also worse, and vice versa as well. So we need a better. And next year we'll have an opportunity to form an NDP government headed by Andrea Horvath. Folks, get involved now. And also, we are also in the middle of the end of year. And also, you can also donate by visiting ysw.ontarionDP.ca. There, every dollar you donate, you will get a generous tax return as well. Okay, you get that. Another thing also is that also it's important to continue to get also involved, to make sure that we have an NDP government. Folks, also, I know that also there was also this week was a sad news. A friend and also constituent by the name of Bashir Hosh Jibril was vacationing actually visiting some of his family members in Istanbul, Turkey, and he was attacked by a group of thugs and robbed him and killed him. So I send my sincere condolences to my friend Bash Musa and also Hawa Jibril, and to sincere condolences for the loss of their brother Bashir Hosh Jibril, who was also a community activist and also legal, serving the community and helping. And I know that also he has also worked in the Dixon Community Center for years, contributing there, and also his older brother, also Abdurrahman Hosh, also, who was also a lawyer. Also, we lost him a couple of years ago as well to all of a sudden a heart attack. So I just take this opportunity also to send my sincere condolences, not only to the immediate family, but also to the entire community as well, so that we and also I heard also this Sunday it's going to be also a remembering tribute event for him at Star. Probably it starts about I think it will be also subject to 50% capacity as well. So if you can make it, please do so, and whatever you can to help as well. Well, folks, those who just joined, also welcome. You are joining your member provincial parliament, Faisal Hassan. And also my friend here, Meet Me at the Crossroads, are doing a fantastic job. They have done fantastic things, folks. They have been trying to also collect toys to help young families who are less fortunate in our community. They've also collected backpacks and help returning to school for less fortunate members of our community. Please support them. Meet Me at the Crossroads. They're doing fantastic job. We thank you for the work you're doing in our community. That's what we want. Community looking after one another, and that's what we need. And our community has been so good getting involved and helping others and helping one another. And that's what we need from our government, these Ford Conservatives, also helping, and not just a dollar pinching, just creating a mess, everything they touch. And we need them to help, to do. And we see this week, even today, the mess at the LCBOs, because they said that the rapid antigen test will be there. And yes, it was there quickly, but it was gone quickly. They haven't planned, and it doesn't make sense. We need that to be available also in senior centers like the Simons 55 or the York West Active Living, also a Western Village seniors centers and others, and also senior centers like Beach Halls and others, so that the seniors could come and get where they are. So we could also put them into daycare centers, libraries, and many places. Why only LCPOs? I'm not against LCPOs. I know a lot of people are going to the LCPOs now because it's the a holiday season. Many people are lining up to get the liquor and so forth. But there are also people who have trying to also stop drinking, and this also will trigger them, by visiting back again LCBOs, and that's not good at all. We don't want, and also there are others because of religious reasons might not also feel comfortable going. So that's also a lot of seniors also cannot line up there. So we need to make sure there are options, other options, like libraries, like community centers, like senior centers, like other places where people could go and get them and make it much easier, provide more numbers. Or another person actually in our community have suggested, why don't you mail it every member of the community directly to their homes? And that's also another possibility that it can be done, but this government doesn't even think that beyond the box. And I think that was a brilliant idea. For one of our community members have said that, why don't they just mail it to every person's address, because we know where everybody lives. Why don't we just send them one, for everybody? For that way, they will be able to receive them, or make it available everywhere, you know, in even grocery stores, restaurants, every place where people go, they should be able to go and get them. It should be made more accessible, not just LCBOs. We only have 3 LCBOs here in our community, and we have a huge community here, and that's not enough as well. Quickly, I'll take some comments here, and Charity says they need to be more places for boosters for people who cannot afford transit. Absolutely, you're right. And the boosters now, they are limited to certain places, and now in our community there are 2 locations, folks. If you don't know, one is the stockyards right there on St. Clair and Kill, and then we also have in the north of the riding at the highway for Highway 7. Sorry, what I'm saying. Quickly, Highway 401 at Western Road. Okay, and there we have it as well. And also we have the Humber River Hospital, who are doing a fantastic job at the beginning to continuously. They're doing a fantastic job. So they also have a pop-up there, location there. And but we need more. You're right, Charity. We need more locations of that, and we need it everywhere. And to also have a permanent vaccine location. I've been advocating for this for months and months, and to this day, we do not have a permanent vaccine location in our community, and we need it. And I said this was the right thing to do. Have it 24 hours the clock, so people could come, they get their vaccines, and that would have been a fantastic thing to do. But this government is still, one day short and dollar short and always late, and it's not right. All right, quickly. Brandon says quickly here, today Federal Health Minister announced that the travel restrictions are being lifted tomorrow for 10 African countries. Do you think that the travel restrictions should be lifted for the 10 African countries? Well, I think, Brandon, what they did was at the beginning, their ban was very discriminatory, because they were not banning countries in Europe that have similar cases and experiences from these Southern African countries. And now they're trying to correct that. And I think that is perhaps they must have some other information. So until I get more details of that, I won't be able to comment on this, Brandon. Brian, welcome. And also Frank says, you're right about that. Yes, that was the case early on. And now I think they are trying to make sure that they are trying to do the right thing. If there are some countries, whether they are in Europe or in America or anywhere, any other parts of the world, if there's similar cases ban them all. I get that. And then also lift them all at the same time, but not just selective. And we know that also these governments a history of discriminatory immigration practices when it comes to the African countries. If you haven't watched Who Lands In or Who Gets In, watch that video. It was created, I think it was created by the CBC in the 90s, and it was a horrible policy by the previous Liberal government under John Critcher, and others also. The conservatives also share the same on this as well. So that has been so now they're trying to fix that, and I think that's the right thing to do at the moment. Well, thank you. Quickly, Charity says, I cannot afford TTC as I'm still not working, and my husband is the only one bringing in money, and he cannot take time off work. You see, folks, this is a case Charity talks about, and it is important. Why don't you bring the vaccines, to her home? Why don't you bring it to closer to her home where she can walk and simply get her vaccine? And this is what we have been advocating again and again since, it took us about 7 months to get a testing center in this community. And that's a long time. And still to this day, we don't have a permanent facility where people can walk, doesn't need to take far at the end of the riding and the north of the riding. What about in between? What about the east-west? We need areas that is more locations where people could actually walk, so that they are not denied the opportunity to get vaccines. And this is why my leader Andrea Horvath have talked about the last mile strategy, going to people where they are and providing them exactly what we need to do, exactly to give those vaccines and make them available to people. But I agree with you. We should do better, and definitely we need to make sure that we bring people like Charity into her home so that she can get the boost she needs. Well, thanks for sharing your story, Charity. Frank says the issue is not the Southern African nations. The issue is here, where there is little to no enforcement on quarantine requirements. Why punish Africans when it is not their fault? I fully agree with you, and I think there are so many systemic barriers and discriminations when it comes to Black and also the African folks. And I think there are in many cases some issues that we are doing much better, but there are a lot of things we need to work together to make it better. Well, thank you for your comments as well. Quickly also, Chart says the community place hub was a great location. Exactly, and that was the efforts, Charity. The community hub was the work of the West Park Healthcare Center, and under the leadership of Anne Marie Malik, who is doing a fantastic job and bringing closer to the community. And I think that was the work of that partnership, and that partnership did, and exactly bringing to vaccines closer to the community for the community place hub that is in the center where the large populations of the community reside. And I think that's another thing this government could do to start bringing this boost right in the heart of the community. And it can be done. Let's do it, folks. And also, Brandon says, now that the capacity limits are going to be reinforced on Sunday, do you think it is a good idea to reinforce the capacity limits for shopping mall? Well, I think the malls are also, I think they are 50% as well, Brandon. So to my understanding, so that is about 50% as well. So we'll see until we get more information of that. Well, thank you, Brandon, for your question as well. Well, it is not a news to anyone in our community of York Southwestern that we are in the midst of a housing crisis. Young adults are being priced out of their housing market. Tenants are living in fear that rents will skyrocket. They worry that they will be targeted for unfair evictions or evictions, and many are waiting months or years for basic repairs and maintenance. This appears to be news to the Ford government, which only recently decided that striking a housing task force was required to identify issues and develop solutions to the problem. Sadly, the task force was devoid of any tenant representation, silencing rather their voices as the province purports to solve the problem. And this week, yesterday, we learned of the cancellation of the summit on housing affordability with municipal leaders. The public health solution is certainly worth of concern, but housing has been an emergency for decades, demands action now. And you guys, we've talked about where we are and why we are the way we are is because the federal Liberal government under John Crochet and Martin have said we have nothing to do with housing, especially affordable housing. Therefore, they have downloaded it to provincial governments. And what do the Mike Harris then and Erin Eves and Dalton McGuinty and Kathleen Wynne do? They download it to municipalities. And municipalities, especially in the city of Toronto, they cannot handle the crisis of housing. And because of that, the waiting list for affordable housing is over 100,000 people, folks. We have arrived at this point after decades of inaction. Previous governments have ignored calls from tenants to take action. And quickly, I think my friend Rag Shardal is joining us, says, you are the GOAT, greatest of all time. As always, keep up the good work. Well, thank you for your encouraging words, and I appreciate for your good comment this afternoon. Thank you. And young families, folks, have raised concerns for years about the inability to find decent, affordable homes, and nothing has been done. Prior to this government, Liberal governments, we urged to take the issue seriously and take steps to address the problem. And yet here we are again, and we are in crisis. Housing speculators continue to see their wealth explode, and corporation landlords and bad apples continue to take advantage of the tenants in our community. This is the result of government inaction and a willingness to continually push the problem further out of sight. As today's government's decision highlights, it doesn't have to be this way, folks. It is a choice made by this government as well as previous governments. These actions may have been easier to excuse if they weren't serious and concrete options on the table. Our party has put forward a host of measures that will achieve results and provide relief to families struggling across our community. They are part of a comprehensive housing plan called Ontario NDP Housing Plan, Homes You Can Afford, which you can read. If you haven't received a copy from me, you can actually go to, or you can put any searching engine. You can put Ontario NDP Housing Plan, and if you want to get a copy, you can just write to me, Faisal Hassan, Faisal Hassan, co at ndp.on.ca. And it includes ideas such as stabilizing rents by making it illegal for landlords to raise the rent in between tenants beyond provincial guideline increases. Introduce a speculation and vacancy tax on those who don't pay taxes in Ontario and who own houses they don't live in. Plus, increase the non-resident speculation tax to 20% and apply it province-wide. Change zoning rules so that developers in Toronto are forced to build more affordable housing in every major development, not just near major transit hubs. and so that multi-unit homes like duplex and townhouses are allowed in all neighborhoods. Allow municipalities to shift property taxes onto properties worth more than 2 million and take the burden of middle-class families. Immediately commit to funding the building of at least 99,000 affordable housing and supportive housing units. Everyone deserves a decent, affordable home, and they deserve a government that will treat this issue with seriousness that it deserves. Folks, it's very important that we fixed this housing crisis. An NDP government has the plan, and we will deliver come June 2nd when we form government next year. And quickly also, Brandon says, have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year 2020. See you Friday, January 7th. Well, that is it, folks. Yes, I won't be able to join you next week. It's holidays, folks. But I will join you next year. Well, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy New Year, folks. Until then, I will see you again next year, and stay safe, wear your masks, practice social distancing, and until then, folks, this is your Member Provincial Parliament, Faisal Hassan, and joining you again. I've joined from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. So until then, folks, have a wonderful evening. I'll see you there next year. Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and stay safe and well. See you guys. Bye.